My brother slept with my girlfriend, and I am questioning everything. Cole here, 30M project manager for a construction company in Denver. Been lurking on this sub for months reading other people's drama. Never imagined I would have my own story to tell. Been with my girlfriend Sierra 28F since we were 17, high school sweethearts. Everyone always said we were meant to be. Elementary school teacher, loves kids, perfect, small town girl. We got engaged last Christmas, planning a June wedding. Or we were. My brother Blake 32M is a real estate agent here in town. Always been the charming one. Successful with women. 2 divorces under his belt already. Growing up, Blake got the looks and charisma. I got the steady personality and work ethic. Never bothered me much. We have always been close, despite being different. Here is where it gets complicated. Blake's been around our house a lot more lately. Helping with wedding planning, he said. Sierra seemed to appreciate having someone who understood the business side of event coordination. Blake knows all the vendors in town, has connections, made sense at the time. But things started feeling off about 2 months ago. Sierra would get weird when I would come home and find them looking at wedding venues on her laptop. They had close it quickly, changed the subject. Blake started staying for dinner more often. Sierra would dress up more when she knew he was coming over. I am not usually the suspicious type, but something in my gut felt wrong. Sierra seemed distant during sex, distracted when we had talk about the future. When I would mention Blake, she would get this weird smile and change the subject. Last week, my dad Frank asked me to help him clean out the garage Saturday morning. Dad's a straight shooter, been a union electrician for 35 years, doesn't dance around issues. We were sorting through old tools when he stopped working and looked at me. Son, I need to tell you something, and your mother's going to kill me for it. My stomach dropped. What is going on, Dad? I saw Blake's truck parked behind the grocery store Thursday afternoon. Sierra's car was there too. They weren't grocery shopping, Cole. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. Dad's not one to spread rumors or cause drama. If he is telling me this, it is because he knows it is true. How long? I asked. Your mother thinks I should mind my own business. Says it is not our place to interfere. But if it was me, I would want to know. Dad couldn't give me a timeline, but said he had noticed Blake and Sierra being too comfortable around each other at family dinners. The way they would catch each other's eyes across the table. How Sierra would laugh extra hard at Blake's jokes. I have been thinking about this non-stop for 4 days. Every interaction I can remember between them. How Sierra suggested Blake help with wedding planning. How Blake offered to take her dress shopping when I was working overtime. How they would have inside jokes I didn't understand. The signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. Confronted Sierra yesterday. Asked her directly if anything was going on with Blake. She denied it, got defensive, asked why I had even think that, but she couldn't look me in the eyes when she said it. My dad saw you two together. I told her. That is when she broke down, started crying, saying it wasn't what I thought, that they were just talking. But her reaction told me everything I needed to know. We have been together for 13 years. 13 years of planning our future, talking about kids, building a life together, and she threw it away for my brother, my older brother, the guy who was supposed to be my best man. I don't know what to do here. Part of me wants to burn everything down, expose them both, make them deal with the consequences. Part of me wants to salvage something, figure out if this is fixable somehow. But mostly, I just feel empty. Like the last 13 years of my life were built on a foundation that never existed. Family dinner is Sunday. Mom's been planning it for weeks. How do I sit at the same table as both of them and pretend everything's normal? How do I look my brother in the eye knowing what he has done? Sierra keeps texting me, begging to talk, saying she can explain everything. Blake doesn't know, I know yet. I need advice. Do I confront Blake directly? Do I tell my parents? Do I call off the wedding and blow up both relationships at once? Update 1 started with Blake Sunday morning. Asked him to meet me for coffee before family dinner. We went to our usual spot downtown. Same place we have been going since high school to talk about life stuff. I know about you and Sierra, I said without any build-up. Blake went white, then tried to play dumb. What are you talking about? Dad saw you too, Thursday afternoon, behind the grocery store. That is when his whole demeanor changed. The fake confusion dropped, and he got defensive. Well, it is not what you think. Then explain it to me. Started when he came over to help with wedding planning, evolved into late-night phone calls when I was working late. Said Sierra was feeling neglected. Deadlines. You as lonely man. You are always at the job site, or dealing with project deadlines. Someone had to listen to her. The ball's on this guy, making it my fault that he was moving in on my girlfriend. But it got worse. Blake said they had been intimate a few times, and that Sierra had been questioning whether she was marrying the right Davidson brother. According to him, they had better chemistry, similar personalities, more in common. She was never really yours, Cole. We are more compatible. I am just sorry it happened this way. I have never wanted to hit someone more in my life. My own brother, sitting there explaining why my girlfriend belonged with him instead, talking about her like she was a piece of property that I had been holding onto unfairly. Asked him if he felt any guilt about betraying me, about ruining our relationship. Blake shrugged and said, love doesn't follow rules. Said if Sierra and I were meant to be together, this never would have happened. You will find someone else, he said. Someone who chooses you first. Left the coffee shop without saying another word. Drove straight to Sierra's apartment. The conversation with Sierra was different, but somehow worse. She cried immediately when she saw my face. Said she had been planning to tell me everything after the coffee meet with Blake. Sierra's version, it started as friendship but evolved into something more. She said she had been having doubts about our relationship for months, that we had grown apart since the engagement. Working with Blake on wedding planning made her realize what she was missing. I love you, she kept saying, but I am not in love with you anymore. I think I fell out of love with you and into love with Blake. Then came the nuclear bomb. She is pregnant. 2 months along. Doesn't know if it is mine or Blake's. Saturday there staring at her for probably 5 minutes without saying anything. 13 years together, and she couldn't tell me she had fallen out of love. Instead, she slept with my brother and got pregnant by either me or him. Asked her why she didn't just break up with me if she was unhappy. She said she was scared, didn't want to hurt me. Thought maybe the feelings for Blake would pass. Said she never meant for it to go this far. But it did go this far, I said. You made choices, both of you. Sierra begged me to think about it. Said maybe we could work through this. Maybe the baby was mine, and we could try couples therapy, start fresh, but she couldn't promise she wouldn't have feelings for Blake anymore. That is when I realized she wanted to keep both options open, keep me as the stable backup, while seeing if Blake would step up as a father and husband. You don't get to have both, I told her. Called off the engagement on the spot. Told her she could figure out the baby situation with Blake. I was done, skipped family dinner, called my dad, and told him what happened. He just said, I am sorry, son, and that was it. Dad gets it. He has been married to my mother for 35 years, knows what loyalty looks like. My mom called later that night. She had heard from Blake about our conversation. She was upset that I was tearing the family apart over a mistake that could be forgiven. Blake made an error in judgment, she said. But he is still your brother. Sierra made a mistake too, but you have been together since you were kids. People change and grow. Don't throw away 2 relationships over this. I asked Mom if she had known what was happening. Long pause. I suspected something but hoped it would pass. I thought if I ignored it, things would go back to normal. So Mom knew my brother was screwing my girlfriend and decided to protect Blake instead of telling me. Good to know where I stand in the family hierarchy. The wedding was supposed to be in 3 months. 150 people invited, deposits paid, everything planned. Now I have to figure out how to untangle all of that, while dealing with the fact that my brother and my ex-girlfriend are probably moving in together. Blake texted yesterday, asking if we could work through this as family. Sierra keeps calling and texting, alternating between apologies and explanations about why this happened. I am not responding to either of them. Not sure I ever will. Dad's been checking on me every day. Think he feels guilty about Mom's reaction. He said something yesterday that stuck with me. Sometimes blood is not thicker than water. Son, sometimes it is thinner than spit. Starting therapy this week. Also looking into whether I can get any of the wedding deposits back. This isn't over yet. Update 2. Been getting DMs asking for updates. So here is where things stand. Buckle up, because this got messy fast. First, the practical stuff. Called off all the wedding vendors. Managed to get about 40% of deposits back due to cancellation clauses. Lost some money, but honestly, small price to pay for dodging this bullet. Results will not be back for another week. But Blake's been acting like the baby is definitely his. Started talking about stepping up and doing the right thing. Funny how he is interested in doing the right thing now. The family situation exploded. Mom organized a family meeting last Sunday to discuss how to move forward. Basically wanted me to sit down with Blake and Sierra to work through our differences and find a way to keep everyone in each other's lives. I declined the meeting, told Mom I had nothing to discuss with either of them. That is when Blake started texting me daily. Long messages about how he never meant to hurt me. How love just happens. How we are brothers and brothers forgive each other. Said Sierra was struggling with the pregnancy and needed support from people who cared about her. She needs you in her life, he texted. We all need to find a way to be family. The audacity was unreal. They blow up my life and now I am supposed to help them feel better about it. So I made a decision, posted the whole story on Facebook. Tagged Blake, Sierra, and half our mutual friends and family. Laid out exactly what happened. When it happened, and how they both handled it. The response was nuclear. Within hours, I had dozens of comments from friends, co-workers, high school classmates, family members. Most were supportive, expressing shock and disappointment, but the reactions from Blake and Sierra's sides were wild. Blake immediately posted his own response, claiming I was destroying the family and weaponizing social media instead of handling things privately. Said people were only getting one side of the story, and that relationships are complicated. Sierra deactivated her Facebook completely within 6 hours. But here is what I didn't expect. Other people started sharing their own experiences with Blake and Sierra. 3 different women commented that Blake had hit on them while they were in relationships. One was a friend's girlfriend at a party 2 years ago. Another was a coworker's wife at a company barbecue. Pattern behavior. 2 of Sierra's teacher colleagues shared that she had been complaining about me for months at work, calling me boring and predictable, saying she felt trapped in a relationship she had outgrown. One of them said Sierra had been openly flirting with other teachers and substitute teachers all school year. The post got shared by enough people that it reached Sierra's principal. Sierra is now facing potential disciplinary action at work for conduct unbecoming since she is pregnant, and it is unclear who the father is. Small town, conservative school district. Not a good look. Blake's real estate business is taking hits too. Had 3 clients cancel listings after seeing the post. Turns out sleeping with your brother's girlfriend isn't great for your professional reputation. My mom called me furious. Said I had humiliated the family and destroyed Blake's livelihood over personal drama that should have stayed private. You have made this public scandal when it could have been handled quietly, she said. Now, everyone's talking about us. Asked Mom why she was more concerned about Blake's reputation than the fact that he betrayed me. She said Blake made a mistake, but I was being vindictive and cruel by exposing him publicly. Family protects family, she said. You are not acting like family. That was the moment I realized Mom was never going to see Blake as the bad guy here. To her, I am the one causing problems by refusing to forgive and move on. Dad had a different reaction. Came by my apartment yesterday with a 6-pack, and we talked for 3 hours. He said he had been thinking about leaving Mom over how she handled this whole situation. 35 years of marriage, and I never saw this side of her, Dad said. The way she is protecting Blake while blaming you for standing up for yourself. It is not the woman I married. Dad apologized for not telling me sooner about what he suspected. Said he should have trusted his instincts and given me the information I needed to make my own choices. Blake's always been your mother's favorite, he said. But that doesn't make what he did right. You deserve better from your family. The unexpected ally in all this has been Sierra's younger sister Maya. She reached out after seeing the Facebook post and asked to meet for coffee. Maya told me Sierra had been talking about Blake for months, saying he was everything. I wasn't spontaneous, exciting, ambitious. She said you guys had grown apart, and she was staying with you out of habit. Maya said. I told her she should just break up with you if she wasn't happy, but she said it was complicated with the wedding planning and family expectations. Maya also confirmed that Sierra had been seeing Blake longer than she admitted. Maya had seen Blake's truck at Sierra's apartment back in February, 3 months before their supposed emotional connection started. I am sorry she did this to you, Maya said. You deserved better. You deserve the truth. Blake sent one final text yesterday. We are still brothers, right? I left it on read. Some relationships don't survive betrayal. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt. The therapy's helping Dr. Rodriguez has been working with me on understanding that loyalty is earned, not inherited. That family isn't just about blood. It is about people who have your back. When things get hard, Blake and Sierra made their choices. Now they get to live with the consequences. Paternity results should be back by next week. Not that it matters to me anymore, but curious to see how Blake handles sudden fatherhood if the baby turns out to be his. Starting to realize this might be the best thing that ever happened to me. Better to find out who people really are before you marry them, or trust them with important things. Final update: paternity results came back 4 months ago. Blake's the father. The timeline lined up with when they started hooking up, so Sierra's been carrying his baby this whole time while planning our wedding. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so messed up. Blake and Sierra moved in together immediately after the results. They are trying to make it work for the baby, according to the family gossip chain. From what I hear through mutual friends, it is not going well. Turns out being spontaneous and exciting doesn't translate well to midnight feedings and diaper changes. Sierra's on unpaid leave from her teaching job due to the school district drama, so money's tight. Blake's real estate business is still recovering from the reputation hit. Maya, Sierra's sister, keeps me loosely updated since we have become friends. She says Sierra regrets everything, realizes she threw away a stable relationship for fantasy romance that couldn't handle real-world pressure. Sierra asked Maya to reach out to me about talking things through, but I told Maya I wasn't interested. She made her choice, I said. Now she gets to live with it. My family situation has been the real revelation. Dad finally moved out 3 months ago. He is staying in a studio apartment downtown while they figure out divorce details. Turns out Mom's pattern of protecting Blake while dismissing my feelings wasn't limited to this situation. It has been going on our whole lives. I spent 35 years watching her make excuses for Blake while holding you to impossible standards. Dad and I have gotten closer than we have ever been. We meet for dinner every Tuesday, work on weekend projects together, talk about life stuff, real father-son relationship, instead of the strained family dynamic we had before. Mom still blames me for destroying the family. She has doubled down on supporting Blake and Sierra, helps with baby stuff, posts grandparent photos on Facebook, like everything's normal. We haven't spoken since Christmas, and I am okay with that. The biggest change is my perspective on loyalty and family. Used to think blood relationships were sacred, that you had to forgive family no matter what they did. Therapy helped me understand that loyalty has to be mutual. You don't owe people your trust just because you share DNA. Been dating someone new for 2 months. Emma. She is an architectural engineer I met through work. We took things slow, talked honestly about our past relationships, built trust gradually. She knows the whole story with Blake and Sierra, understands why I have trust issues. I like that you have boundaries, Emma said last week. Shows you respect yourself enough to walk away from toxic situations. Emma's right. Old me would have tried to save the relationship, gone to family therapy, made excuses for everyone's behavior. New me recognizes red flags and acts on them. Work's been amazing. Bought a house in a different neighborhood, closer to Dad's place. Fresh start without reminders of the Sierra years. Blake still tries to reach out every few months. Birthday texts, holiday messages, occasional thinking of you stuff. I don't respond, not out of anger anymore, just indifference. He is a stranger who happens to share my genetics. Last message was 3 weeks ago. Miss having you as a brother. Hope we can fix this someday. Some things cannot be fixed. Some trust cannot be rebuilt. Some people show you exactly who they are when they think they can get away with it. The weirdest part is how much happier I am now. Used to think I needed Sierra and Blake in my life to be complete. Turns out, I just needed to find people who actually valued me. Dad's thriving in his new apartment. Says he feels 20 years younger without the constant stress of managing Mom's favoritism and Blake's drama. He is dating a woman named Carol from his union group. She seems great. Straightforward. No nonsense. Treats Dad with respect. Took me 60 years to learn that peace is worth more than keeping everyone else comfortable, Dad said. That has been my biggest lesson too. You cannot control other people's choices, but you can control whether you stick around to deal with the consequences. Blake and Sierra chose each other. Now they get to figure out if fantasy chemistry can survive real-world problems, like money stress, sleep deprivation, and the guilt of knowing their relationship started with betrayal. I chose myself. Best decision I ever made.